Hey there everyone, Luke here. Now before I talk about the chapter this week, I'm just going to give a quick reminder is that next week Shonen Jump is on break, so next week there'll be a Dr. Stone review. It'll be a review of a back catalogue chapter review, so it'll be chapter 4 of Dr. Stone for that week, which considering we're in the season of we're in the anime season of season 3 of Dr. Stone, season 3 part 1, not part 1 part 3 or something like that, just part 1 season 3 part 1. So that's good, and it'll be nice to actually talk about some elements that may or may not come up in season 3, who knows. But anyway, yeah, that's all I'd say. And another thing as well is that on Control Chaos in the next couple of weeks we'll have a special video coming out that has been an idea that I have been wanting to talk about for quite some time. It's going to be like looking at overarching stories versus episodic stories, and just debating which one we think is better, or which one works particularly well for a particular series. Like with Mission Yozakura family, like even though there's the overarching story, there's still episodic chapters as well. Could talk about that. Obviously, we're going to be talking about Dr. Stone as well, and One Piece as well, because even though One Piece is an overarching story about Luffy's journey, there's still like little episodic elements, or even overarching or episodic stories, or overarching stories in various arcs. But that's besides the point. That's all I wanted to say on that front. For now, let's talk about the chapter. Alright, so this will be chapter 175, titled Uncle Koricho. Did I just predict that this will be the chapter start? Because my last review had Uncle Koricho in its title, so hey, I guess I got something right for once with with Mission Yozakura finally calling that. Although last week's chapter I would have said would be more perfect to end for the break with this week's chapter, because it just seems like last week had a much more conclusive cliffhanger that got us debating all week of like what Koricho's interactions with Alpha and Hiyofumi would be. But anyway, that's just a little bit of a nitpick. So basically, the chapter starts off from the ending of the last chapter, where we have Koricho introducing himself to the siblings, which is like, Alpha, Hiyofumi, welcome to Tio Academy, it's the private school for spies. I'm the school principal, Koricho Yozakura, and yes, I'm your uncle. Call me Uncle Koricho. So it's just like, yes, I'm your uncle, so of course you gotta respect me, you gotta call me uncle. And Alpha is just debating in his mind of like, okay, yeah, I remember this guy. He's from that wanted poster, and he says he's our uncle. So wait, Hiyofumi was right. We do have other relatives out there, and he's going through it because Alpha's having trouble of figuring out what kind of aura Koricho has, because he's just unsure of like, is this a friendly aura? Is this a creepy aura? It's both, Alpha. It's both with Koricho. That's what you've got to realise with your uncle. Whatever you think, yeah, and times it by 11. So he's going on and saying like, I don't sense any hostility from him. My Alpha Watch's radar detects something like Hiyofumi's yo-yo string from him for an instant too. So obviously referencing the fact that Hiyofumi's yo-yo string is steel spy. They're the same technique that Koricho has as well. And Alpha continues on and says, it's extremely likely that he is in fact related to us, and yet it's strange with this what's with this intense feeling of creepiness. I don't want to get near him. Yeah, you can tell like Koricho has pretty much even though he still has the love for Mutsumi, as we find out in this chapter, it seems like he's projecting it now onto the next generation. It's like, I finally got nieces and nephews that I can dote over, just like my sister. I've been waiting for this moment for 5 years, and it's just like, okay, yeah, Koricho, you need to be held back and held accountable for everything. I just think the aura just thinks of him, just like, yes, I want to do something for you. It's just like, oh my god, like, Koricho is one of those characters that you do not want to meet in a dark alleyway half the time. And we have Alpha continuing his inner monologue of just, is it really safe to be around him? Is he an ally? is he an enemy? And then we have Korichiro just basically confirming Alpha's suspicions about him. Like, no, we need to stay as far away from this guy as possible. As he says, the glitter of starry skies in your eyes, the shimmer of a deep blue streak in your night black hair. You're almost identical to Mutsumi. Cute. So very cute, both of you. Just like, that's gonna be the thumbnail for the chapter this week, of just Korichiro's intense, creepy stare, just like, yeah, let's get out of it. And Alpha is just like, yeah, no, this guy is the enemy. And both of them just blast him right then and there. Just like, keep as far away from us as possible, man. So after blasting him with most of their techniques, they're just shocked by it, how his technique, like particularly you see in this page, on page 6, that Hifumi, after blasting Korichiro with a yo-yo, it just like sort of like spins on it, kind of like how you have a buzzsaw that just keeps spinning when it hits a target. That's kind of the same thing of what's happening with Hifumi's yo-yo. It's just spinning at Korichiro's face. He's just taking it like a man, just being like, ah, excellent. So you already absorbed the lesson I gave you earlier, how benefiting of the Yozakura Finance 11th generation, obviously showcasing that Hifumi and Alpha are very quick studies and fast learners, because Korichiro basically gave them advice and almost immediately they're using it. And who else on but their uncle Korichiro? So yeah, nice that they're taking on the lessons that are given them. And he's just like not feeling the pain. Well, he probably is feeling the pain, but it's just like, yeah, I've been through far worse, so I could take this, even though it's gonna like probably sting a little bit. He's more interested in just finding out what their growth is. And like I said, obviously Korichiro has probably been keeping tabs on Mutsumi and Tayo throughout the years, and even though he's won it, like we find out at the end of the chapter, like, yeah, Tayo, he's not going to get out of this unscathed, especially when it's Korichiro. He's found out, like, oh, so Tayo and Mutsumi have had kids? Wait, Tayo has done it with my sister? Oh, I'm not going to like that. And he's probably been waiting all this time for this moment when he's like, I am going to get Tayo for what he has done to my sister. Granted, he's given me nieces and nephew, but at the same time, yeah, Tayo, you shouldn't have been doing that without my permission. That's probably what's been going through Korichiro's mind. He's probably planning for years and years, well, maybe 1 or 2 years. No, he's been planning for the 5 years of how he's going to take care of this moment. But at the same time, we learn later in the chapter that Korichiro has obviously told the other Yozakura siblings about Hifumi and Alpha. So, like I said, with this chapter, I'm glad that we got the interactions between Hifumi, Alpha, and Korichiro, and how they're going to be very different. Like, Alpha pretty much establishing, like, yeah, he's treating it as I expected, like, very, very creepy, keep away from him. Whereas Hifumi, as we'll learn later in the chapter, like I suspected, she is just all over her uncle about how similar they actually are, and I find that absolutely hilarious. So yeah, we now have a Brocon Yozakura as well as a Ciscon Yozakura. This family is not normal. But of course, Hifumi, despite how she's going to think her uncle is awesome, she's not too far amazed by him to realize, like, no, he is still creepy. Even though I adore him, he's still creepy. So she uses her steel spider yo-yo to wrap Alpha up in the steel spider, and she's like, Alpha, I'll stall him, I'll throw you away from him. And Alpha's like, no, that's my line. I'm the one who's meant to be doing that. We've got to distract this guy right here. And Korichiro is just like, what beautiful love for your siblings. You're just like me, Mutsumi, and me. As we see, for some reason, like we know he's using Steel Spider, but again, it seems invisible to the naked eye. Like, what is this technique that he's using? Like, because we are, like, because you can see it, like, just using his hands, kind of like a puppet master to kind of manipulate the steel spider. But at the same time, we're not seeing the steel spider. So what is this technique that this is just so fascinating to me, like, of just how powerful Koricho actually is at this point. We've got Invisible Steel Spider. But anyway, Alpha's just the first one to pick up just the fact that they're floating in the air as Koricho's like, come and give your uncle a big loving bear hug. No one wants to give Koricho a big loving bear hug. And before Alpha and Hifumi are about to crap their pants, Musume finally comes in, just like whacks Koricho away from them, and it's just like, hey, Koricho, stop traumatizing the little kids here. And after he eventually does let go of them, and even though she's just chastised him, she's eventually able to congratulate him on the training and everything that he's gone through, and even compliment his actual looks, which is something that probably hurts Mutsumi to say, like, complimenting Koricho on his looks. That's probably going to make her gag on in the inside, because she's mentioned, like, the slick black hair looks good on you. And yeah, I'll admit, the slick black hair for Koricho does look good on him, even though he's giving off his eyes an impression here from Bleach. But yeah, Alpha and Hifumi are just like a bit like, Mama, what are you doing here? Is this really true? Are you really the brother, the sister of this guy? But before they can even answer more questions, we have Tao coming in. It's just like, yeah, let's just have this moment and hold still until I tell you. Don't worry, you're safe right now. The only thing he sees here is Mama, which Musume is always going to come first when it comes to Koricho, even though he's probably going to have more fun now with Hifumi. It's still going to be like, yeah, they've not seen each other in 5... Now, to be fair, they've not seen each other in 5 years, and Musume even goes on and says this, and it's true about this. Haha, brother, that feels so strange now. Come to think of it, I was a sister. I've been a mama for so long, I kind of forgot. Which, again, makes sense. Like, she's been separated from her siblings for 5 years. Like, it would seem kind of weird, like, now that she can finally be a sister again to them. And it's going to take a little bit of time to get used to it. And even though she's always acting annoyed and wanted to get rid of her, when she's actually gone all of a sudden, she felt lonely. And she saw it being such a selfish sister. Which, again, totally understandable, because when I was away at university, I lived away from home for 9 years. Like, I lived before coming back home. Like, even though at times me says like, oh, just go away, I don't want you anymore, I don't need you anymore. At the same time, after a while, I'd miss them. And even though my sister has moved out herself into her own house, I still miss her. I still miss her from time to time myself, even though we can be a bit annoyed by each other's antics sometimes. I'd just be like, oh, you're having your own life, blah blah blah, all of this sibling drama. But at the same time, when we're together, it's like, hey, how are you? It's nice to see you again. And eventually we are, hopefully at some point, we are gonna start going to places again and doing activities again, like when we did when we was. But at the same time, we're growing up, we're having our own lives now, we've got our own agendas. But like I said, nice once in a while to be like, yeah, we can finally be brother and sister again. And same thing for my brothers as well, even though I do get annoyed by them, and sometimes I just wish like I could just leave as well. At the same time, I would miss them, and it would feel strange to not have them around. And you do, and even though most of the time you're like, I wish I could not be with my siblings, at some point you are gonna be like, you know what, I really want to be a part. I really want to be with them again and just catch up on how things are going in their lives. And it's the same thing here with Mutsumi. And I cannot wait for when the other siblings finally return and they're just like doting over Mutsumi, and then they're going to concentrate on the kids and be like, oh hey, let's see what you kids can do. So continuing on, Mutsumi says, oh, welcome home, big brother. As we see Koricho just being like, okay, I'm glad about that. And then you just see there's this one little panel right down here where it's like life starts to fade from his existence. Starts to look a little bit like Ban, their grandfather. Actually, yeah, that does. Like on page 10, if you look at the bottom two panels, the one where he starts fading out, it kind of does resemble Ban a little bit there. And again, I'd love to know like how the marital structure of the Yozakura family happens. Like, is it only the head of the family that can get married and produce children? That's something that I really, really want to find out. And also want to find out, I want to find out about the aunts and uncles of the Yozakura siblings, like the great aunts and uncles of Alpha and Hifumi. That is still something I want to find out about before the end of the series. And if I don't find out about something like that, I'm going to be disappointed because again, this cannot be the only generation of Yozakuras that have siblings. Like, it just can't be. There has to be more Yozakuras out there somewhere. Like, a real extended family, like any cousins or anything like that. But anyway, moving on. So Koricho basically just passes out. It's just like, I'm dying. I can go to heaven right here. And Tao's just like, okay, yeah, I knew this was gonna happen, but did you think he went a bit too overboard there, Mutsumi? And Mutsumi answers the question of just like, oh, no. Credit where credit's due. Koricho has stayed out of our lives for the 5 years. He's held off on it. He deserves a reward for all of this, and he needs to calm down so that we can give a proper introduction. Because, yeah, if this had gone pretty much like no, he would just be like, oh, Mutsumi, come here. Oh, you've got kids right now. Oh, that's so cute and everything. Like, no. He needs to calm down. He needs to get this all out of his system right here, right now. Okay, you got it out, Koricho. Now we can do the proper introductions as we see him, as we see Koricho resting in the principal's office, and Mutsumi basically confirming to Alpha and Hifumi like, yes, this is my brother, Koricho Yozakura. It's my oldest brother. So yeah, he is your Uncle Koricho. And Alpha's just like, wait, this guy, this creeper's like, is your brother? And yeah, and Mutsumi confirmed, like, yes, he's my brother, yes, he's a creep, he loves me way too much, and hates your papa with a passion. So, I guess nothing has changed with Tayo and Koricho's relationship, but it's only going to get a whole lot worse now for him. And Alpha's just like, wait, isn't that a sister complex? And Mutsumi, yes, it's a big one. I know our family is not normal, Alpha. It's just something you're gonna have to get used to. And Alpha's just like, why didn't you tell me about this before? Like, he's basically giving that look up to Mutsumi, like, why didn't you tell me about this before? And also, it's not nice that you've about all of this. What are you saying? I like to think I'm smart, but I'm having trouble grasping all it. Like, he's having trouble. Like, this is just too much for his brain. Like, wait, we have an uncle and he has a sister complex. He's basically acting similar to how Hifumi acts to me. He hates our father. He loves you with passion. Like, what's going on here, mother? And she's like, calm down, Alpha. We had to keep this a secret from you, but I have hopes that you'll be nice. And he's like, no, I'm not going to be nice to this guy right here after giving that bad first impression. Yeah, no way, mama. And of course, like I said, this is the moment where Hifumi is just doting on her uncle. Our uncle is so awesome, isn't he, Alpha? He's just the awesomest guy ever. You just see Hifumi just like sparkling eyes glittering from her, just shining right here, and you get the looks of just Mutsumi and Alpha just being like, oh my god, she's exactly like Koricho. You just give those looks of just like, oh my god, we've got another one in the family. And Alpha's, yeah, but I guess your aunt, I guess you're not grasping, having trouble grasping this. You're immediately gone into high praise for Uncle, and everybody suspected this. As soon as we knew what Hifumi's personality was like, we were like, that is a female Koricho right there and there. And sure enough, she is just doting on her uncle, and you can probably tell, like, Koricho is, even though he's passed out and he's in high heaven, he is probably hearing all of this from Hifumi, just being like, I know I am. Great. I'm glad somebody sees it the way I see it. I'm glad I finally have this connection with someone in the family. As Alpha's just be like, why aren't you hearing this, Hifumi? This guy is a creep. What could be awesome about him? You saw how creepy he was a minute ago. I'm gonna have nightmares now. Don't do that, Alpha, or you'll get the nightmare devil from Chainsaw Man rising up out of the ground. Which, by the way, Nightmare Devil? Chainsaw Man might be coming. But yeah, Hifumi counters is like, oh, but Uncle loves Mama, right? That means he must love us lots too. I love you lots, Alpha, so I feel like we'll like him a lot. And Alpha's just like, no, you emphasize with that, but he's still a creep. And as soon as Creature hears this from Hifumi, like, but I love you lots, Alpha, so I feel like we'll like you a lot. This is where Creature gets up and she's like, I had faith that I knew you'd understand that. I'm glad I finally have someone who has that connection with you. And Alpha's just like, he's woken up, and you just see the sweat drops, like, perfectly capturing exactly what Tayo is like. Tayo and some of the other Yozakuras and things, whereas Hifumi's just like, oh, Uncle, you're awake, how are you? It's nice to see you. And of course, this is where Hifumi and Koichiro properly introduce themselves to each other and literally say pretty much the exact same thing, like, it's nice to meet you, Uncle Koichiro. I am Hifumi. My favourite thing in the world is Alpha. It's good to meet you, Hifumi. I am your Uncle Koichiro. My favourite thing is Mutsumi. And Alpha's just like, I'm losing my sister to this cream. Why am I losing my sister to this cream? And, but of course, Mutsumi is just like, it was inevitable this would happen. She is just like Koichiro. The second she'll meet Koichiro, they're going to get along like two peas in a pod. So you might as well just give it up, Alpha. Koichiro once had a room that was plastered with pictures of me. His Mutsumi room. When I saw Hifumi had an Alpha's mansion, I just gave up completely. And yeah, you see just the similarities. You see Koichiro's room, and then you see Hifumi have a room that's just dedicated to Alpha, and then she was just, and you just give that, and Mutsumi has in the image of just like, oh my god, it's like I'm looking at Koichiro in a younger female body. I don't think I like this, but what can I do? That's just the way my family is. And Alpha's just like, I have not heard anything about this Alpha mansion. What the hell is actually going on? And Hifumi's just like, yeah, Mama told me to keep it a secret because it would scare you, which no blooming surprise it would scare him. But yeah, Koichiro goes on and says, here, just the photos and from what I've heard from our siblings was enough for me to feel our connection. Alpha's rejections are so like Mutsumi's, aren't they? Especially just see him like patting Hifumi, like, yeah, I totally get it, Hifumi, yeah, we're like two peas in a pod here, but it's great that I finally have someone. And from what I've heard from our siblings was enough to... okay, so Koichiro didn't know about Alpha and Hifumi? Like, so wait, did the other Yozakuras... Did oh my god, that would actually make sense. Like, I'm such an idiot for not realising this. Mutsumi probably told the other Yozakuras before she told Koichiro, because if she told Koichiro right there, right now, then it would have been game over for Tayo. So she was like, okay, I'm going to tell Futaba first, then I'm going to tell Shion, then I'm going to tell Shinzo, then I'm going to tell Nanano and Keigo, and I'm going to tell them, like, okay, break it to Koichiro slowly. Break it to him slowly. Tell him that, hey, you've got a niece that is just exactly like you. Dotes on her brother, exactly like you. So don't do anything to Tayo, okay? And Koichiro probably had his hands behind. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to do anything to Tayo. Of course I'm not. So yeah, Koichiro was probably the last one to find out about this, which, now that I think about it, does make sense that he's the last person that needs to find out about what's all been going on in the 5-year time skip. So yeah, just the photos and from what I've heard from our siblings was enough to feel like, yeah, pretty much they told him, and it was just like, if you do anything to Sal, we're gonna beat your ass because we've been training just as much as you have. So yeah, does make sense. I'm a complete idiot for not thinking like that. So after everything has calmed down and Hifumi and Alpha have calmed down, they realise, wait a minute, he said siblings, so does that mean you have other siblings on Koichiro? And he's like, yes, that is true, you have many more aunts and uncles. Well, I guess not many others, like there's only 5 of them. There's like 2 aunts and 3 other uncles, but I guess it's more for them in their eyes. But he mentions like they've each completed their individual missions and are on their way here now to the academy. Now I would like to see in the future like their glimpses of what other parts of their missions were whilst they were during the 5-year time skip. But we do get glimpses of their time skip designs. We see Futaba has has more long hair. She's probably grown it out, which would make for an interesting fight style if she's able to use it in combat. We see that Shion has more personality, if you know what I mean. Nanano seems to be a little bit more sophisticated, a lot more smart scientist, and I love the fact that he has the tie with a 7 on it, like showcases ranking as the 7th member of the Yozakura siblings. Shinzo looks like super pump and pimped out, and Keigo is what you expect from him. But yeah, so those are the glimpses of the Yozakura sibling societies, and of course, Hiyofumi is just like, we have lots of aunts and uncles, we have lots of aunts and uncles, can't wait to meet them, can't wait to meet them. And whilst Hiyofumi is just getting really pumped and psyched up for this, we see Alpha going, wait a minute, doesn't that mean there are lots more like it? Like he's preparing for every one of them to be just like Koricho. And I love that, like, Koricho just makes such a negative impact on his like thing. Is everyone in this family going to be like him? And Hiyofumi, not Hiyofumi, Musumi just realises that the second she's looking at her son and looking at Koricho, she's probably thinking the exact same thing that he's probably feeling like, yeah, or what I've been thinking, like, yeah, Alpha's probably thinking that everyone is exactly like Koricho, so I need to get relaxed. And she's like, oh, relax, Alpha, the rest are completely sane. Well, mostly. Yeah, I wouldn't call them all sane. Yeah, a mad scientist brother Mutsumi, and you have a brother that's like Rambo but has the personality of Deku from My Hero Academia, and then you have a brother who likes to be in disguises but also likes to be naked half the time. But yeah, Koricho goes on and explains, we kept our existence secret from you, and we have a plan for what the family should do next. That's the reason for these, I'll explain in due time. So, very interesting that we're getting the next phase of the plan, but we might not be getting it yet. So maybe after they've gone through a bit of spy training at the academy, that's when Koricho will actually feel what the next phase of the plan is and why everyone is being called at this specific moment in time. But there's one man he's got to attend to, and that was with Tile, and you just see Tile just freaking out, just like, yes, Koricho, and he's probably going through his mind like, oh my god, this day has come, he's gonna get to me. He's gonna kill me, and they're just, and the others are just like, Tayo, Papa, as they probably are like thinking like, what's going on here? Like Musumi knows like, yeah, something is gonna happen here. As Koricho is just like, oh, congratulations on your marriage and congratulations on the birth of your children. I've been looking forward to the day we meet again. Oh yes, so very much. So he's been like plotting through his head all the things that he's probably been going to do to Tayo, as it's just like, yeah, so you can come in once you've made your peace. So it's like, you're dead meat, Tile, after all of this that you've put my sister through, getting her pregnant, having kids, getting married. And Tile's just like, you know what? Might as well just get on with it. It was good while it lasted, but no, Tile, you're not going to be killed off. I'm sure once Koricho starts to enact his plan, the other siblings are going to go crashing in and just be like, Koricho, I thought we made it clear you are not to touch Tayo. But yeah, that's where the chapter ends. So, really, really fun chapter. Just finding out what the relationship between Koricho was going to be with the siblings, and finding out like, oh, the other siblings are coming here right now. So I guess this means that they're not all staff at the school. Like, it's just Koricho as the principal of the school. Now, in terms of what the next phase of the plan is, I have absolutely no idea. It has to involve Hiyofumi and Alpha in some way. Like, it might be the next phase of the plan, training them up to get them prepared for a potential battle with Asa that might be coming in the pipeline. But hey, who knows at this point with Yozakura? They could be, we could be entering the final arc in a few chapters, or we could still be doing more slice of life things in a few chapters. We just don't know with this series, and it's very hard to predict and get figure out where the direction is actually going to be taking it. But anyway, guys, what did you think of this chapter? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And this will be Lasherluke signing off. Later, guys.